3. And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. We cover cadets, midshipmen, the military, and veterans proudly since 2008. And we have a chance to talk to a West Point graduate, class of 81, served overseas, led a National Guard unit into Iraq, and is an Army football player, and that is Lieutenant Colonel Robert Vicci. And Colonel, good to see you today, and have you chat on our program.
Ken, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. I was very proud. I proudly wore number 32 for 77 through 81, through 4 years of the forgotten era of Army football, and I loved every minute of it, but I hated every minute of it. It was a challenge, as you know. It's a challenge playing football, carrying 21 credits a semester.
That's right. 21 credits a lot for any student, even without playing a Division I sport. And we always are amazed at how the cadets and we talked to the midshipmen down in Annapolis too about that. Well, and you got a big event coming up. I just want to mention it up front. May 4th, you have an event in Cranford, New Jersey, that will benefit your veterans organization, VetREST, and bring together a lot of the soldiers that you took to Iraq about 20 years ago. Why don't you start by telling us about that?
Sure. Yes, sir. Well, VetREST was an organization started back in 2013 by classmates of mine, Major General retired Dan York, and Brigadier General retired Becky Halstead. She was the first West Point appointed Brigadier General. We beat out the class of 80, which I'm very proud of Becky and her accomplishments. And VetREST was brought on to help stem the flow of suicide and help with the effects of PTSD from our veterans who are struggling so greatly over the years. And what we've done is we decided as a fundraising effort is to try to bring not only more awareness, but to bring the military flair to our civilian community. Military guys don't often donate and do real well in the fundraising space. So we've created a model of having a formal military dining in with our civilian counterparts. Spouses are included, significant others are included, and we make it a real joyous occasion. What we thought we would do is it's also the 20th year reunion of my first and only deployment of the first of the 150th at the time General Support Aviation Battalion. Now it's an Air Assault Battalion out of New Jersey. We're based out of Lakehurst, New Jersey. We actually mobilized in May of 2004. We spent 6 months mobilized at Fort Dix. We spent a year in Iraq from November 11th of 04 through November 11th of 05. And it was quite a struggle. It was an 18-month deployment in total. And 300 of New Jersey and Delaware and so many other states that were involved in our battalion, just the greatest Americans ever. And what we thought we would do with VetREST is we would honor the battalion and make it a 20-year celebration. But not only battalion, but actually I was called last night from our ADCM, Brigadier General Paul Genero. He's going to join us as well. So we have a few general officers joining us from the division headquarters, and we're really happy about that. The 42nd Infantry Division was deployed as a Guard combat division for the first time since World War II. And that was our deployment into Tikrit, Iraq in 2004. We represented over 40 states, and we were set up in Tikrit. And I thought it would be great to tie the two together. We'll have a VetREST event, a fundraiser event, and we'll support the Vandals at the same time. We named the Vandals one mysterious night on a 3-month New Horizons mission in Panama. And we came up with the name the Vandals. There's a whole backstory to it. My crew chiefs are all responsible for that. And we wear our unit patch proudly. And recently, to be a proud papa, inexplicably, the 2 junior lieutenants from our deployment changed battalion command as lieutenant colonels. So Lieutenant Colonel Eric Tulska changed command with Lieutenant Colonel Justin Oliver, and those are the last 2 lieutenants that started out as our deployment in 2004. So for me, it was just a joyful day, a tearful day. But we're going to celebrate the Vandals' successes with this dining in. And what we do, it's a formal ceremony. The president of the mess is going to be Major General Dan York, again, my classmate. I become Mr. Vice and I run the event. And a lot of merriment, a lot of frivolity, we have a grog ceremony. I actually have a comedian coming in, Joey Carroll, who has done 9 combat tours with the USO. And
Okay. Wow.
he's going to do a 30-minute show for us. And we poke fun at each other. We use, can't see, but behind me, I have a whole desk full of T-shirts and gags and all kinds of things that just bring joy and laughter to the event. And we have a lot of formal toasts. We celebrate our MIA folks with a missing in action table.
Yeah.
We're very blessed to have it at the Cranford Elks Club. My younger brother is one of the key members there. John's been there for a very long time, and he set us all up. He redid the entire club. It's tablecloths, chair covers. It's going to be just a beautiful event. So we're bringing in veterans from VetREST, veterans we've supported over the past, actually even only for the past 10 years, we've supported over 100+ veterans out of New Jersey alone. We do help vets nationally. We do have a director, Ron White, who's out in Oregon. We have 5 farms out in Oregon. We have 2 farms down in Florida. So we use farming, mentoring, coaching to help everyone. So what we thought, we'd just bring everyone together for this event and just make it one hell of a party. So we have
That's terrific. Well, we'll have what's the best website for someone to find out information or to register?
Oh, and anyone can come. Matter of fact, I just wrangled in a 2023 Naval Academy grad.
Oh, God.
I told him I only hate him one day a year. He's a wonderful young Italian man from New Jersey, and he's off to flight school soon. So I told him, you come, you be as my personal guest, and I'll make sure I poke fun at him, but I'll also take care of him. Our website is of course the 3 W's, vetrest.org, VETREST.org. You can register there. Folks can donate. Folks can help us with a mentoring program that we're kicking off. And actually, it's best to come because we're going to have some testimonials from some of the veterans we've been very fortunate to help. And we have a grog ceremony, which is an integral part of the dining in.
I've seen those. I've seen a few of those. In fact, I'm going to an ROTC dinner up in Rhode Island coming up that will have a grog ceremony. I've learned about those, but I usually try to avoid participating.
It kind of loosens everybody up a little bit. And then, as Mr. Vice, I either get to fine them or make them do something silly. So I have a lot of gag gifts and other things I hide throughout the room. And we make it a fun event. I have a few guys coming in from Florida, from Colorado, another West Pointer, Richie Carroll. He was our S3 in the war zone. He actually went to the dark side when we came back from Iraq. He transitioned over to the Navy because he wanted to fly. Commissioned officers in the Army don't stop flying, kind of, sort of, after Lieutenant Colonel. He went to the Navy. He's stationed down in Virginia, and he's been flying for years. He did 3 more deployments after that.
Wow.
With a Navy Special Ops unit. So guys like him coming in and folks from all over, and I have a few GOs from the New Jersey Guard coming in. Hopefully, Major General Maria Falco Dodson will make it. She's got a few family events. General Ken Wondrak, who was my mentor many, many years ago in the cavalry, he'll be joining us. I have psychologists joining us. Hopefully some wealthy and influential people are joining us so that they can participate in some of the fun. Some of the donors who have helped us over the years will be there. And it's really just going to be a fun time. And after we're done, after the formal ceremony is over, I have a catering from one of the best Italian restaurants in New Jersey, at Trattoria Mediterranea. A baker's donating a giant cake and
a big Italian meal. Okay.
Yes. And when we're done, we have the Brother John Brown band who's going to play, and they are an amazing 60s, 70s, and 80s band. So
the
ceremony stops. We open up the whole club to everybody, and we're just going to have have a blast. So I encourage anyone, if you're in the Northeast, come join us. You'll be welcome. A lot of folks, a lot of single folks are coming, guys, girls, but we're going to have just a very eclectic crowd coming in. So some
Okay.
of my soldiers who were lieutenants, captains, E3s, E4s, they're going to be joining us. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I also have a 30-minute videotape that I've put together for presentations that I do schools, colleges, businesses, and I run that on a continuous loop. And my Apache pilot, one of my best friend, Alex Giacintoff, he is also a videographer. So he put together these 2 videos with all of the pictures from our deployment. So so
Wow.
everybody there will watch this video because their picture is going to probably show up on it.
Well,
And
maybe you'll let us we publicize that, or that would be terrific to see. Now that's that's Saturday night, May 4th in Cranford, New Jersey, at the
yes,
Elks
sir.
Lodge, and more information is available on your website, VetREST.org. Now, I want to hear a little bit about your days as an Army football player, a fullback on the team. In a transition period, I would say, for the program, you had 3 different coaches in your tenure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your Army football experience?
Oh, yes, sir. Well, back in the dark ages, when we went to school 6 days a week, I don't think they do
Mm,
that any longer. It was a challenge. I was recruited as a quarterback. I was a wishbone quarterback in Cranford. We went to the state championships for the first time in our school's history, and we didn't win, but we had a really good run at it. So I was recruited for the prep school. We had the best record at the prep school for I think about 30 years. We were 7-2. For a very long time. Coach Bob Muller was our coach there. He stayed there for a very long time. He's a wonderful man, and playing football at the academy is just it's an amazing experience. In 1977, when we first came in, we had a weight room in the old gym. And
yeah,
actually, freshmen, we weren't really allowed to use it because we had the spot for all the seniors and juniors, which is kind of what you did. Um, very fortunately, our first game freshman year under Coach Homer Smith, first game, my roommate, Mike Fonstock, caught 3 touchdown passes.
wow,
And Mike became like a walking legend at the academy for 4 years. And Mike just improved year after year. He got better and better and better. He was just inducted into the Army Football Hall of Fame just recently. And I told him, thank God I was his roommate for 6 of the semesters while we were there, and I blocked for him. So I contributed his success mostly due to me. I would think that would be fair. But Mike's just a wonderful man. And playing football under 3 head coaches was really a challenge. Homer Smith was our coach from my freshman and sophomore year. So I was recruited as a quarterback. I got up to West Point, and being a starting quarterback at the prep school, I thought, well, I'm probably, I should be pretty set here, at least to get a role.
yeah.
And Homer Smith had recruited a guy, Mark Trigstead. Loved Mark. Mark and I were competing head to head in everything. So Coach Smith decided to make me a fullback at the time for whatever reason. And Mark became one of the quarterbacks. And unfortunately, Mark left the academy a year later and stopped playing. So here I am as a fullback. I was 198 pounds, soaking wet, an Italian kid out of New Jersey. And
Not quite Jacoby Buchanan or Tyson Riley size.
not quite, but I enjoyed it. But then I watched the amount of education that the quarterbacks had to go through, the studying, the playbooks, and I was amazed. My best friend at school, one of my best friends, John Wharton and T.D. Decker, were the 2 quarterbacks, and they constantly lived at the coach's house. And I saw what TD was going through. And now I knew all the backfield positions and all the receiver positions, because as we shifted around, I had to know what everybody was doing. But I was just amazed at the amount of knowledge that our quarterbacks really have to know about everything. I wasn't that skilled, I don't think. And I was very happy with my station. Loved playing on the JV team. We were all the meat squad guys for the varsity. And I started, more than half the season, junior year and senior year. And I attribute that to being on that meat squad. For the guys that say, look, I'm just cannon fodder for the seniors and juniors. I tell you what, I learned how to block, because I was going up against George Mays and all of these wonderful guys from the class of 78 that were just beating the crap out of us. But I learned how to block a big, fast guy. So when I got to play against Hugh Green, Matt Millen, Ricky Jackson, Mike Singletary, I was as prepared as a 199-pound guy could be prepared to go against professional grade athletes. And the teams we played, we beat Stanford our junior year out in Stanford, which was an amazing defeat. But, playing against teams like Notre Dame, Pitt, Stanford, Baylor, schools with 47,000 students against our 4,000 students, of which 100 of us would play football, was really a testament. And we actually thought we could win a lot of those games. We went into the games thinking we can do this. And we did the best we could. We had two really solid seasons with Coach Smith. Really enjoyed his leadership, and his brain power was just amazing. Sad that he was let go after our Navy loss our freshman year. We had hoped he'd stayed on, but brought in Lou Saban. Lou Saban was most guys really didn't get along with him. I happened to get along with Coach Saban. He liked tough guys, and he played me a lot because I just hit people. So I returned kickoffs. I was a blocking back on punts. I was a holder. I was on a kickoff team, and I was a fullback. I told Coach I will do anything to be on that field. So I had a lot of different special teams that I was on, and I loved it. So if I couldn't be a starting fullback, I wanted to be on that field doing something, hitting somebody. Yeah. Coach Saban had a hard time grasping the military lifestyle, that we were there to be educated first and then football players. Again, I was on the dean's other list, so I knew the dean very well, and he knew me and a lot of my classmates very well. And if we didn't maintain an above a C average, we weren't playing football. So when I came up from prep school, 19 of us came up from the prep school to play.
It's a lot, because the team rosters weren't as big in your era as they are today.
Yes, sir. 5 of us lasted 4 years.
Okay.
5 of us prepsters lasted 4 years. And I quit every weekend. Quit the school, hated it, loved it, hated it. And part of being part of the brotherhood, not only the Army Football Brotherhood, but of the West Point Brotherhood, is you have a support system that is well beyond anyone else's support system. You have people that are going through the same exact thing as you from all walks of life. Color doesn't matter, race doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter. We were brothers and sisters, but mostly, we were playing football. I didn't really know many other people other than football players because I didn't have time to. Just a great environment for learning and team play. One of the things that was really tough was our schedule was really demanding. We, delivering laundry and delivering clothing in the morning, breakfast, school, lunch, school, then football. And by the time I got back to my room at night after being all beat up from the football field, it was 8, 9 o'clock at night. Try to study for 2-3 hours and maintain a passing grade. So it was an academic challenge, but you always found a way, the resources to get through it. And one thing that the academy offers is you could call your instructors anytime, day, night, and they would help you. And that really was a great support group for me, is having those instructors to reach out to and say, hey, look, sir, I missed your class on Saturday. I need help with this. And they were always there to help you. Something that I think, year after year, West Point and the Naval Academy and Air Force Academy, they're in the top 5 schools for student satisfaction. And the reason is you're held accountable and you have all the resources you need to be successful. And a lot of the universities we see today, they don't care if you don't graduate this year, next year. You go for 5, 6, 7 years. Nobody cares. At the academy, we're getting out of there in 4 years. If not, maybe 5. Transitioning through our third head coach, Ed Kavanaugh, my senior year, that was a tough transition for us. Junior year, I'm sorry, I was a starting fullback for Rutgers, Pitt, and Navy. The last 3 games, I had a 4.5-yard rushing average. I was hitting about 80 yards per game. And I came back senior year, I was 9th on the depth chart. With my coach, I'm like, Coach, I was a starting fullback at the end of last year. I was a starting fullback at the end of spring training. Why am I 9th on the depth chart? And because I was slow. I run straight. I quick off the ball, but everybody beats me in the 40. That's just the way it is. By the end of by midseason, I was back on the starting roster again, which was great. But senior year, Army Navy, 4 of us seniors who had played throughout the seasons didn't start.
Mm.
That was devastating to me. That was something I'll never forget. Not starting in that last Army Navy game was really devastating to us. And it was, I got in for a few plays, fourth quarter, I think, but that was really a souring end to a 4-year football career because most athletes don't last 4 years in any core sport, actually in most colleges. But you know what? The memories are phenomenal. The camaraderie that I have with the football players is amazing. We're on a group chat. There's 40 of us. We had a very remarkable, kind of different, because as we, every year we have an Army football golf outing, which I encourage everyone who played even 1 year in Army football needs to come to this reunion. It's an amazing event. The class of 81, 82, 83, and 84, our 4 years, we are very close. The freshmen that we had with us, like Joe Sardiano was one of our punters. We're very close. The class of 80, we're trying to bring them along, but only 2 or 3 guys show up to the reunion. But the 4 years of ours were extremely close. And maybe it was because of that turmoil that we had through the amount of coaching changes. But I love these guys like my brothers. I would give my life for any of these guys that I'm in this group with. And they're all remarkable businessmen, business leaders. And we rely on each other heavily when we're down. We celebrate each other's birthday, weddings, anniversaries, and births.
That's great. Hey, Colonel, it's great to talk with you. I just want to touch one subject we talk with all of our veteran guests about was their transition from the military back to civilian life. I know you've got a real estate business going and you were in the National Guard, so you got a chance to get a head start. Tell us a little bit about how you transitioned from military to a successful civilian career.
Initially, when I came out of my first active duty assignment, I was stationed in Savannah, Georgia, with 2nd of the 9th Cav down in Hunter, and I was very lucky because when I came out of the Army, actually I wanted to stay in. I actually wanted to do more than 7 years active duty, but Big Army wanted to send me to Korea unaccompanied, and my son was a month old at the time, and I said, "Look, I'd rather go somewhere with my son and my daughter." My daughter was 2.5. My son was 1 month. I said, "Send me somewhere where I can be with my family for another year or 2, and then I'll stay in." But they refused, and they wanted to send me unaccompanied somewhere. So I got out. My father owns a general construction company in New Jersey, and my younger brother John, he still owns and runs the company today. So a long legacy. The company was started back in 1912. My father bought the company in the early 70s. And turned it over to my younger brother, John, several years ago. Dad passed away last year. And that transition was not bad for me because I came out of the Army and I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to run a construction company. I went to estimating school and kept educating myself. A year and a half later, I just started really missing the Guard and missing the military. So I joined the New Jersey National Guard as a overstrength captain to a cavalry unit up at Picatinny Arsenal. And throughout the years, it was great at most times and not so great having a dual career track because, on the civilian side, working for a family business was great. I could do my annual training. I could do my weekend drills. I could do my flight training that I needed to do. But then in the late 90s, construction kind of fell apart, mostly in the Northeast. I went off to be a property manager for Matt Cali Realty. I actually wound up being a senior vice president for Trammell Crow Company at American Express in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm at a great plateau. I was a battalion commander for the New Jersey Guard. I love my Vandals more than anyone can imagine. And I'm a senior vice president at American Express, and boom, MOB order comes. I'm mobilized for 26 months. So I come out of the commercial real estate realm, and I'm full-time Army for 26, almost 3 years. And coming back, this is what'll touch on your question, Ken, is when I came back from Iraq in 2005, I stayed on orders in the G3 shop to help with deployments and mobilizations for another year. When I tried getting back to the commercial real estate industry, best job I could get was a project manager's position. So I dropped 3 levels out of that C-suite position. And I worked for SL Green in New York City. I worked for a company, Hampshire in New Jersey. And I wound up managing the top 30 floors of the Empire State Building. But let me tell you, it was a challenge because a lot of companies really don't want us veterans on their team. We are as you know, we're a different kind of group. We're very mission oriented, get the job done. What's my mission? I'll get it done. What's my focus? I'll get it done. You know, you call on a veteran for anything, and that's who I want on my team. They'll get it done. But we intimidate a lot of people in the corporate environment. Into some of the positions I had, some of the executives were very comfortable doing their mediocre jobs at their high level. I was pretty aggressive coming through the ranks, and I wanted to get promoted. There's two ways to get promoted. One is you have to change companies, or two is you need to get your boss promoted, or you need to get him or her out of your way so you can get promoted. So there's a huge challenge facing a lot of our veterans that are coming out into the civilian marketplace. And we need to rely on our other connections, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, Coast Guard, our other veterans who've served, to keep those connections alive and well. And you know, it takes a lot to maintain those connections. So it's a struggle. You have to fight through it. I'm actually unemployed today. I was downsized from a job back in November, and I have over 75 resumes out. I've had 3 interviews in 6 months. And I don't know, you know, I've been told a lot of different things, whether it's I'm too old, I'm the wrong, you know, I don't fit the right bill for a lot of other companies. But I encourage the men and women I mentor is you have to stay in the fight. You have to stay on LinkedIn. You have to stay connected, and you have to reach out to people. So there are organizations that will help. And that's what another add to VetREST does is when you contact VetREST, it comes to General York or me or Ron White, who's a retired lieutenant commander from the Navy. And we will do anything for anyone, anywhere, any place, anytime. If you're law enforcement, EMT, anything, we will help you with that transition. So even though I'm transitioning, I still help place people in other jobs because we have a network that we work on. And, you know, keeping those connections. It's not just on Facebook saying happy birthday or happy this. It's reaching out and calling someone when you're supposed to talk to
Phone
them.
calls are so important. I can tell you that. When that's how I know who my friends are. Those I can reach on the phone.
Yes, you don't text your brothers and sisters on their birthdays or anniversaries. You call them. And you make sure that they know you know. And I store everyone's birthday in my phone. I don't have to go on social media to do that. But the transition phase out there for veterans is still challenging, but we have to just stay in the fight. You know, we have to stay ahead of the curve. We at VetREST will help you with that. We'll connect you with other organizations. You know, there are 45,000 veteran charities out there today, mostly smaller. You know, you have the Wounded Warriors of the world. They're doing, you know, great work. They've gotten a lot better since Mike Linnington took the president position. I think Mike just retired, actually. Another general officer just took command of Wounded Warriors, so I wish them the best. Tunnel to Towers, love that organization. I actually built a house for Tunnel to Towers in New Jersey 2 years ago for a double amputee Marine veteran, Sergeant Aaron Alonzo. But maintaining that connection is so important. But veterans who are struggling, few things, need to reach out to someone. I can't tell you how many Vietnam veterans I'm putting through the VA to get their benefits, their disability benefits, their medical benefits. I've helped three World War II veterans a few years ago before they passed with Dr. Tadero, who's a great medical, he's a great psychologist, psychiatrist. And we work together with all these organizations to help our veterans get to where they need. So be it your benefits, be it disability, be it a job, you have to reach out to some of our veteran organizations and we will help. And the struggles are real, Ken, but nothing is, we can overcome anything. And darn it, we're West Point graduates and we have a great legacy out there. We have great heroes in our Naval Academy, our Air Force Academy. And I encourage everyone to reach out to those folks because they are so important and so influential in today's marketplace.
Wow. Wow. You are a great representative of those who have served in the military and in the Army and the National Guard and of West Point graduates. Really great to talk with you. I know we're going to do it again because I think we only hit a few key points that we wanted to cover, but that gives us a chance to do this again soon. But May 4th is your dinner for VetREST in Cranford at the Elks Lodge, and you can find more information on that and sign up at vetrest.org. Lieutenant Colonel retired Robert Vicci from the
Vicci.
Vicci, I'm sorry,
Vicci, that's right.
Vicci from the class of '81, and a former Army football player, a fullback. And great to talk with you today. And thank you for your service to our country.
Absolute pleasure, sir. God bless you. Thank you for the work you're doing, and I hope to meet you in person one of these days really soon.
Now we'll look to make that happen. Great to see you. This is Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. I want to thank our sponsors. The New York Yankees have been a big supporter of ours and got their season off to a great start. And also the Special Operations Warrior Foundation we highlight. They provide scholarships to family members of in the special operations community that have lost a member in service to our country. So again, thank you to our guest today, Robert Vicci from the West Point class of '81 and a veteran of the U.S. Army. Good to
Beat
see you.
Navy, sir. Beat Navy. Got to say it. Beat Navy.
That's always the key two words, beat Navy. Good to see you. Thanks for watching.
Take care, sir. God bless you.